Welcome back for another video. Today we're going to talk a little bit more about the Mule. We're at just under 44 hours on it now. It's time to put some fuel in it. I can't give you an exact mileage as far as the fuel because I have a lot of idle time here as the way I use this machine. And so far this machine has surpassed my expectations as far as the things I'm able to get completed with it. So I got to say I'm satisfied, right? But today we're going to take a little closer look to the engine compartment, as well as we're going to put some fuel in the machine here. And like I said, I've learned a couple of things. Got the manual back out, again approaching that 50-hour mark, and I'm going to share them with you. Something I didn't know about this machine. I'm like, you know, as soon as the man showing me the machine at the dealership showed me how to start it, I pretty well thought I knew everything I needed to know. That's not the case. So let's go over a couple of things, okay? Let's get on with the video. Now unfortunately, before I started making this video for you guys this morning, the machine is dirty, and actually it's just a little too cold out right now to wash it. We're in the upper 30s today, but still a nice day to be outside. Get our fuel in there. Like I said, this should be not an exact count, but I'm thinking this is 14 gallons that I've added to this now. And again, I have a lot of idle time on this of the different applications that I do here at the farm. Yeah, and 6 gallons, I mean, it's sitting right here at the edge of that. So that was a perfect timing for that. I was on 1 bar on the fuel gauge. So, and this is just under 8 gallons. 7.9 gallons is actually what the fuel capacity is rated at. So at 1 bar, 6 gallons put this right to the bottom of the cap. Let's get this bed lifted up and take a closer look at the engine. And again, this, I really like the simplicity of this. This works really good. Now another nice thing, I have all my tools and things back here, and they're going to stay put for me. I can actually leave my stuff setting there and let this up. It's nice not to have to remove all that stuff. Stayed right there where I needed it. One thing to mention here, the engine compartment on this is just absolutely organized, and it looks well. And that is not a go-kart engine sitting in this. This is a full-blown 3-cylinder engine. It's water cooled, and again, just well organized in the engine compartment here. And once you lift the bed up, great access to anything you would need to do. You can see the yellow cap there is for putting oil in if you have to add oil to it. There's some other things about this. The fact that it's electronic fuel injected means it's pretty well going to start in any conditions. And I always, when I'm starting the engine, I allow the fuel pump to fully energize before I turn the switch to start, and then that way you know that everything's pushed up to the carburetor the way it needs to be. Another really nice thing about this machine is this is the air snorkel for it. It keeps it up and away from all the water. I mean, really you could run this thing with the water up to the top of the tires and not really start getting into drawing water into your motor. It is something you want to watch for, though. Water in a system like that doesn't go along very well. It can cause you some major problems. But like I said, well organized engine compartment. And the salesman was telling me when I purchased this machine that that is the same engine that you see on all the small trucks over in Japan where they make these things. Let's check the oil in it. We have a little latch right here you need to lift up. Now right inside the cab there's another little latch you have to flip, and then the access panel is ready to come off. And you just simply lift the panel up and out, and this panel removed, now you have access to your battery as well as the dipstick for the oil. me zoom you in so you can see that. And the bright orange color you see there is the dipstick. Like I said, I'm trying to hold this door open too. Get my big old hands in the way. And that's how you would check your oil. Like I said, you want your oil level right in the center of these two holes, or just at the bottom of this top hole here. And always check and make sure you don't have any moisture around it. And the color of your oil there will tell you as well. This looks exceptionally clean. It's probably even hard to see on the camera. So, but again, right to the center or slightly below that top hole there, and you're in good shape. Always make sure you're on flat ground. Now, when you put this back in, make absolutely sure you get it in there, and then shove it all the way in until the you feel the gaskets seat back up. Because there is a gasket around the top side of this dipstick here. Let me show you that. Make sure you guys can see it. These two little O-rings here, rubber O-rings, is what makes sure that it seals in there and can't allow any water to get down in through the dip tube there. So make sure when you slide your dipstick back in there that it seals all the way up, and then that way you won't have any problems there. Okay? And then, like I said, this is our battery compartment. Easy to change a battery out if you ever have to. As well as this is for the winch. It's where the winch wiring is, and the switch for the winch. So this will be your air filter here. You can remove that and change your air filter. Okay, now I'm going to tell you what I learned this morning when I got to reading the manual. I was impressed. Alright, now when we put our cover back on, we have slots right here, as well as down here in the bottom. We're going to make sure it seals up. We'll close this latch and then the bottom latch. And again, this is kind of a tight area. It's hard for me to show you guys and not be in your way. I'll make sure I get this front one lined up first and get it slid in there. And it just has to go up and over to the bottom. Then make sure your bottom seat's in. Okay, so the line now is equal all the way around, and we're ready to latch it down. Okay, alright, so the first new thing I've learned about this, I was going through the manual, as I said earlier in the video, and I've been thinking about putting some lights on the back of this. Well, they have already pre-wired this for you, and this is the plug. You would just simply plug in your new lights that you want here, and then run your switch up to wherever you need it to be. So they've already thought ahead of you and got that in the wiring harness, so everything's going to line up for you. And again, if you chose to, you could even put trailer lights on the back of this, so if you're towing a trailer out on a county road or something like that, you would have brake lights and parking lights, and that would make it safer for somebody to see you, coming up behind you. You know that they could see the back of the trailer. And then the second thing I've learned today that really impressed me, let me show you this. They have already set this little machine up with emissions control. This is the exhaust sensor. They also have a carburation sensor on it for any type of blow-by on the oil. We'll pull it back through the system, draw the oil out of the fumes, reburn it, and send it through. Also has a catalytic converter in it already, along with the spark arrestor. And I mean, this thing is set up for emissions. So I had no idea. Again, this is not a go-kart engine. This is a well thought out machine. I'll give you another look at that sensor there. And again, I believe there's 3 more on there. I'm going to check that here in just a second. Alright guys, when all else fails, break out the manual. But as far as the emissions control, we have crankcase emissions control, exhaust emissions control, evaporative emission control system, And let's see, they also makes a specific model for California. So again, I mean, this is pretty well an automobile back here, just in a UTV format. So impressive. Now, they're not cheap, so they should be. You know, I still think it should have come with a heater and some other features in here. But now again, as I was reading through here, this is where I found the fact that they've actually allowed some space for wiring options if you want to add accessories to this thing. So again, that was nice too. All right. So I hope you're enjoying yours, or if you're thinking about getting one, there's a lot of research out for you, and make a educated purchase, and then you'll get what you want. So I hope this video has been fun for you. It's been a learning adventure for me. Thank you, and I'll see you on the next one. Something to mention, guys, this is called AutoHeat, and this is actually a little heater that you can plug into your 12 volt. It's 180 volts of heat, and it will help keep your windshield defrosted. You just simply plug it into your 12 volt. Let's see if we can get a listen to this thing run. And then the longer it runs, the warmer it gets. But again, I mean, every time I pull this thing out of the garage, the first thing that happens is the windshield wants to get a bunch of moisture on it. So it's not a lot. I think this thing costs like 20 bucks, 30 bucks. And I picked it up at the at AutoZone actually. But it will defrost your windshield for you. Okay, so again, this is called AutoHeat. You can probably hear it running. Does have a little clip on the back, or you can mount this some way and allow it to be at the windshield, or even just place it next to you for some heat inside this vehicle when it's a little chilly outside. And I have one other one for you. Let me get this thing shut off. Let's see. I'm looking to see if this thing has a switch on it, and it does not. So you simply plug it up and it works, and unplug it to shut it off. Now it does have its own fuse in there, which that makes it nice if it starts to get too hot running in the machine as far as the power it's pulling. And then this actually has a great clip on it. It's an oscillating fan, 9-inch fan, and I picked this up at Walmart for like 9 bucks. And it actually can clip up here on top and also help with keeping the windshield defrosted and stir a little bit of air in here for you. So I know there's alternatives. You can actually purchase units that will work along with the cooling system in the Mule here. Now you're getting into $300, $400, $500 plus installation to actually put heating in these vehicles. But if you want a simple, cheap alternative, you may look into this. This may be something you want to try. And again, I'll plug this guy up. This little fan, now these are convenient for anything you're doing because it actually does move quite a bit of air. We keep one in the boat, one in the RV, so, and again, inexpensive, but they work well. Let me get this guy plugged up. Like I said, this little guy even oscillate for you. There it goes. Does have a couple settings here. Let me see, I don't have my glasses on. So that's medium, or yeah, that's medium. And it will go to high as well. So again, placed in the vehicle, you can keep this at your windshield. or point it on you. If it's hot outside, you can actually stir some air in here. Okay, $10, can't beat it. Thanks for watching.